So I'd love to get your advice because we've been talking about the fear of public speaking and how terrified so many people are of public speaking, and not even just getting on a stage, but even just sharing an idea in a meeting at work.
Yeah.
Or starting a hard conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Or that moment where you're at a meeting at school and you want to say something, but your fear holds you back and keeps you silent. What advice do you have to help somebody learn how to conquer their fear of speaking, either on a stage or at work, or being more vocal in life?
For me, what helps me the most is to feel like I own my story, to make it ownable. Even if you have to share the profits of the year or whatever, share your personal story behind that. Like attach some of your journey to whatever you want to share. Even if it's a tool. For example, it's so easy to go on Google and research, what am I going to talk about? Let me talk about this topic. And then Google will tell you the answer. And then anybody can Google that same answer.
Yes.
But only you can share a very personal story about that. For example, when they invited me to speak at Facebook, they asked me specifically to talk about the imposter syndrome. They're like, everybody here experiences that. Please talk about it.
Yep.
And I started researching what's the imposter syndrome, how to get over the imposter syndrome. And I started adding that to my presentation. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just repeating what Google is telling me. Is that like even legal? No, like I should be talking from my own experience. So I thought, when was a time where I experienced the imposter syndrome and what helped me in that moment? I added that story to my presentation, and even today I share it. Like I've been sharing that story for 7 years.
What is the story?
Oh my God. So it was a time where I was just starting as a speaker.
How old were you?
Not that long ago. It was after the 100-day project. So I faced 100 fears. The last one was to speak on TEDx. And that's what launched my career as a speaker. And that was in 2015. So I started speaking in 2016, let's say.
Okay.
And so they hired me to speak at ESPN. And I was very nervous, but very excited. And then the speaker that went right before me was the most exceptional speaker you can think of. And guess what? She was also the first speaker today at the event. So full circle. Yes. Hi, Carla. Yeah. So she was amazing. She was exceptional. And then I had to follow that act. And I was so nervous because I experienced the imposter syndrome. I'm like, if that's a speaker, I'm not a speaker. Like, I'm not that. And I was just starting. So I felt very intimidated by her. And I thought, I have to be more like her. I have to be more polished. I have to speak perfect English. I have to answer better. Like, she's answering all these awesome questions. Like, it was horrible, that feeling of comparison, right? Yeah. And then after the event, I went to the happy hour, and I was hesitant to go, but I'm so glad that I went, because that night so many people approached me to tell me that I was also one of the highlights of the day for them, and that they appreciated how real I was, and what I thought was like my imperfect side of myself was exactly what resonated with them. So the more real you are, the more you can own who, your authentic self, your story. That's what people want to hear more than anything else.
Amazing. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. So another question to ask you is, so you're doing a couple sessions at the event today, and you're nervous.
Yeah.
Other than thinking about what's the best that could happen, are there any other strategies that you use in those moments where the fear starts to rise up and your nervous system goes into a state of being on alert and you start going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit? Like, what else do you personally do that you can give to somebody listening as a little technique to get your shit together?
Okay, one of the things that helped me is that I realized that I let go and I calm myself down when I dance reggaeton. Yeah, it's crazy. But when I realized that, I was like, I need to include that in my presentation.
I love that. That's how you take the stage, right?
That is, yeah. So whenever they say, welcome, Michelle, I play my song.
Yes.
I go on stage and I start dancing Dura from Daddy Yankee, and I dance all out. And it's really uncomfortable because I'm the only one dancing. I try to make people dance, but they don't. Mostly at very corporate settings. They stay in their seats and they're petrified looking at me. Why is she dancing?
Or if you've got like the 8 a.m. slot in Las Vegas and you're the first session and there's literally like an eighth of the chairs are filled, nobody's up front and you're dancing like a maniac on the stage alone.
Yes, exactly.
Now, are you still afraid to do that?
I'm not. I remember at the beginning, I would tell my husband, because we travel together, we always speak together, and I was like, I'm not doing it every single time. And he was like, you are doing it, Michelle. So I needed him to convince me, every time. And now I feel like I need to. Like now I know that every time I dance, I felt so much better afterwards. So that would be one of my advices. Like try to find what calms you down. See how if you can incorporate that into your speech.
I actually have a different reason why that works. Do you want to know why that works? Because nervousness and excitement is the exact same thing physiologically. And so you are hijacking your state of nerves and aiming it at dancing, which is a state of excitement.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, you take control of your physiological state by dancing. So it's not at all about calming down. It's about you channeling nerves into a really exciting thing, even though it makes you uncomfortable to do it on stage.
Yes.
That's super cool. All right. I know you have a plane to catch.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is so crazy. Thank you for reaching out to me. I am thrilled that you did. I am super excited to share your work with our listeners. I love supporting other women on the corporate stage. And I also applaud the fact that A, you reached out, and B, when I said, yeah, come on by, you said, I got 20 minutes, but I got to catch a flight, but I'm going. And then when you walked in here, what did you say?
I said that I forgot my laptop at the convention.
So you sent your husband back. You came in here. We are getting it done. You're going to get it done tomorrow. One final thing that I'm sure everybody asks you. What is the next fear you're going to conquer?
A second baby. That would be my next fear.
Why are you afraid of that?
Because I just had one and I know exactly what it means, but at the same time.
Actually, no, you don't.
No, but
No, you don't. Right? You don't know.
Maybe I don't.
No,
Maybe
you
I don't.
don't. Because 2 is very different than 1, and it's a totally different human being, and the labor will be totally different, and the pregnancy will be totally different.
Yeah. I hope. No. So just having one and going through all the entire experience was amazing. But at the same time, it was 2 years of being away from what I love as my job and all of that because I chose to be very present at home. So just right now, I feel like, I'm finally back. Me, Michelle is back. That's how I feel. And now we're like, okay, let's try for a second one. And we're like,
I can see why that's nerve-wracking. And that's why you got to face it, right?
Exactly. Yes. We have to. And if it's something that you really want, doesn't matter the fear. You have to go for it. And yeah.
Amazing. Any final words?
Any final words? What's the best that can happen?
What's the best that can happen? Hello, fears.
Yeah, hello, fears.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I'm glad we did
amazing.
this.
Me too. So I just want to highlight a couple really important things that just happened. You have a big, beautiful, amazing life that is just waiting for you to trust fall into it. And when you listen to Michelle and I bantering on and on, we've never met before, ever. Everything that you heard was the whole conversation, and she left. And our meeting was all about leaning into life. That trust fall that I'm talking about. That what's the best thing that could happen? What if it all works out? And when you place a bet on life and you place a bet on yourself to face something, to believe that it's all going to work out, that you're going to figure it out, magical things happen. Magical things. And so, I want to highlight the fact that just like Michelle was talking about how she was alive, but she wasn't living. There are aspects in your life where you're that way too. And there's something bigger, a higher purpose, more self-expression that's available to you, but only if you're willing to do that trust fall. And I'm focusing on public speaking because it's the number one fear that people have. And I want to give you tools and I want to talk about how I manage my nerves. But at some point, you're going to have to stop gripping and let yourself fall. And so, number one, she reached out. I'm sure there was a little bit of fear and trepidation there because she's, running all over the place where I used to be probably 6 years ago. And I'm somebody that she really looks up to. And I'm sure you've had the experience of texting people you admire and they don't respond at all. So she DMs me. There's one facing a fear. I then say, yeah, come on by. And she follows up and she does. Even though she's got 2 hours to catch a flight and she has to be across country tomorrow morning for another speech. And she comes up here alone. Even though it would have been really easy, wouldn't it have? For her to be like, oh my God, I left my laptop. I got to go back and get it. Instead, she sent somebody else back and she came. There's another trust fall. I texted her and said, great, we're going to have the mics on because I want to ask you a few questions. She was like, I'm in. Trust fall. And she just poured into you. And it was awesome. Like, didn't you just love her energy? You root for somebody like that. And I'm telling you, there is energy. There's an aliveness inside of you, a vibrancy that will come when you are willing to push through your fears. And it could look like anything, honestly. I'm just sitting here right now in this hotel room in Dallas, and I'm looking at my friend Amy, who did her first stand-up routine in New Jersey in 3 years. She hasn't done one in 3 years. Trust fall. And there's something that you want to do. I know my son wants to go skydiving for his 18th birthday. I made him a promise I'd do it with him. It is my biggest fear, other than being buried alive. But I do not want to do it. I'm starting to feel a little bit of vomit in the back of my throat and a nervous stomach, just even thinking about it. But I'm going to do it because I also want to reach and experience the full potential of my life. And I know every time that fear holds me back from reaching out to somebody, from saying, fuck it, I'm going to go try that thing, to raising my hand when I'm nervous about how people are going to respond, to jumping into something that I know nothing about, I'm limiting myself. And you're doing the same thing. And so here's what we're going to do. When we come back, it's going to be tomorrow morning. And I am going to take you on the road with me, backstage, to this huge event in Dallas. There's 3,000 women in the food service industry, executive leadership, up-and-comers, really important event. And I'm the closing keynote speaker. And you'll hear backstage all the noise and commotion, and I will tell you exactly what I do to manage the nerves that come up. Because you know what? I want to crush it. I want to literally destroy it on that stage. And so I care about what I'm doing. So of course I'm going to feel a little bit nervous. Or is it excitement? Well, stay with us and I'll take you to the event tomorrow and you'll find out. I am here at the Dallas Convention Center and there are 3,000 chairs out there. And we have just run through the tech rehearsal. And I'm going to tell you a little secret about how I manage my nerves and how I flip it into excitement. And this is something you can steal. There's always a reason why you are doing something. And when you can find the reason or the purpose for why you want to either give that speech or destroy this sales presentation or walk into your boss and advocate for yourself because of the contributions that you're making, or you just want to find the courage to stand up in a town meeting and talk. There's always a reason why. And so before you're about to do it, one of the things that you want to do is you want to remind yourself of why this matters to you. I want to, for example, at work, I want to be compensated and valued for my contributions, and it's my responsibility to make those contributions known. And so I'm going to be super proud of myself if and when I say this. Or I want to make a difference in my town. And so I'm going to have to start speaking up because my voice needs to be heard. I don't want to be complaining about what's going on in this town in my own house. I want to be advocating for what changes I'd like to see make because I can make a difference. For me, whenever I give a speech, I always say the same thing to myself. I say that, yes, there are 3,000 seats here, but I'm only ever talking to one person. And I believe that there is one person in this audience today who is here because they are meant to be here. And there is something that I am about to say that will change their entire life. That they're going to learn something that might cure their anxiety or that might help them through a very, very, very dark moment to know that this is temporary. There is someone that's going to be inspired to make a major change. And I know that in the course of the hour that I am speaking on this stage, something is going to happen that is meant for that person. And if I trust that, it allows me to just ditch the script and show up as my full, highest expressed self. You know, look, it might be that I trip on the stage coming out. Not planned, but somebody in the audience seeing that, wow, if that woman on the stage trips and she gets back up, maybe I can stumble and get back up too. Look at how she just brushes it off and she doesn't care. What if I had that? I mean, it could be that. It could be something really profound like getting sober or leaving a really abusive marriage. So I remind myself of that, and I'm only ever talking to one person. And that helps me. It helps me to stay focused and to know that what I'm about to do, even if it makes my stomach twist in knots, or even if I'm a little, quote, nervous about how it's going to go, it helps me stay aligned with my purpose. And that's where your power alley is always in life. And that's why it's so important for you to push yourself, to express yourself and advocate for yourself and share your story. And so steal that idea. Remind yourself of why you're doing this. Only talk to one person and tell yourself that there is a person in this room and you are meant to say something in this room because somebody needs to hear you say it. And when you trust that, it's not about you. It's about the impact that you're about to make. Okay, we should get off the stage because we got to go backstage and get ready. I go on in about an hour. And this is normally the dead zone for people where they've practiced, they've run through something, and now they wait. And this is where your nerves can get the worst of you. So next up, after a short break for a word for our sponsors, I'm going to teach you the real trick from Harvard Medical School to reframe all those nerves backstage or right before or in anticipation of into excitement so that you can align yourself with your mission and express yourself. Mwah. All right, 5 minutes before I take the stage, and here's the big trick. You know, we reframe fear into excitement. And the thing about nervousness is just your body trying to get you into an alert state because what you're about to do requires you to concentrate. So, for example, you get nervous before a test because it's important and you have to concentrate and you care about the outcome. You get nervous before giving a presentation because you have to pay attention and the outcome's important. You get nervous before you have to sing or go into an interview or go on a date because you're going to be basically putting yourself out there and it's important and you care about the outcome and you got to pay attention. That's what nerves are about. It's about getting you to get into an alert state. Same thing as excitement. Excitement is when your body goes into an alert state because something cool is about to happen and you got to pay attention. And so right now, I literally say to myself, I'm not nervous. I'm really excited. I'm not nervous at all. In fact, I'm so excited to get out on that stage. Why? Because there is one person out there whose life is going to change. And as I get more and more excited and get closer to walking up to that stage, my stomach will start to grumble. I will have to pee. My armpits will sweat. My mouth is starting to get dry. But I keep telling myself, I'm not nervous. Those aren't butterflies. Those are the wings of possibility. Ooh, that's nice. That's deep, Mel. Those are just me getting ready to do something that I care about. And I'm excited to get out there and I'm excited to make a difference. And I'm excited to express myself. And I'm excited to push myself to do something like this. And so that's my little ritual. I don't dance around. I don't meditate. I don't get calm. I tap into excitement and I hijack the nerves and I label it something empowering. And that settles my body and it makes my focus get really laser focused on the impact I want to make. And that will help you perform. Okay, let me explain why your stomach has butterflies when you're nervous, and why you have to pee, and why your heart races, and why your armpits sweat. This is all part of an automatic response in your body to either something that is exciting or something that is stressful. And when you roll back the clock in terms of evolution and you take a look at stress, we could spend hours and hours and hours talking about this, but I'm just going to boil it down so that you have enough understanding to trust what I'm telling you about why reframing nerves into excitement works. This is from research at Harvard Medical School, where they studied people in situations that made them nervous, job interviews, giving a speech, participating in a debate competition, singing, and running in a track meet. And they taught all of these people to tell themselves they were excited to do the thing that made them nervous, and it helped them perform better. And the reason why reframing stressful situations into excitement works is because there's no physiological difference in your body between a moment that's stressful and a moment that's exciting. Your body has the same alert response to it. All of the blood goes to your heart, it goes to your brain, and that means it leaves your digestive tract. Because honestly, you don't need to be digesting food if you're going to take a test. You don't need to be digesting food if you're going to sing on a stage. You don't need to be digesting food if you're going to give a speech. So the blood goes to your heart so that you can, move, and it goes to your brain so you can think. And I'm dumbing this down. I realize there's a lot more complex science, but just the chemical structure, physiological structure changes. That's where the butterflies come in. See, the butterflies aren't there because you're nervous or excited. The butterflies are there because the blood flow increased to your heart, which is why your heart is racing. And the butterflies are due to that chemical change from the blood going to the heart and not being in the digestive tract. That's what that is, dude. That's also why you have to pee. Because you're not going to need to pee on stage. You're not going to need to pee while you're singing. And so your body has this natural response in exciting or stressful situations to dump what's ever in your bladder or in your bowels. Why? So that you can focus and so that you can run faster or perform better. That's why this happens. And so one of the mistakes that people make is that when they get nervous and they start getting butterflies, you think the butterflies are a sign that you're about to fuck up. No, it's a sign that your body's getting ready to do something. And you get to decide whether you call the thing you're about to do exciting or scary. And that's why the reframing works. Because there's no difference between you walking onto a stage and your heart racing and your armpits sweating and your throat being dry and your stomach being, whoop, see, we are backstage. We're going to let the applause die down. And your stomach being in knots, which is a situation that makes you nervous, or you going to a concert and your favorite band. I can't wait to see Coldplay this fall. When they take that stage, let me tell you something. Right before they come on, I'm going to have to pee. There are going to be pterodactyls in my stomach. My armpits are going to be sweating. My heart's going to be racing. But I'm excited because I said I'm excited. So reframing works. And here's the really important reason why this matters. Not only are you not going to freak yourself out by going, oh my God, my stomach's in knots, it's really hurt, which only increases how stressed you are, by the way. But by telling yourself you're excited, you stabilize yourself. Your thoughts don't race. And based on research from UCLA from Dr. Judith Willis, your stress response doesn't impact your brain functioning, which means all that preparation of studying for the test or preparing for the speech or the presentation, you don't choke. You can tap into it. And so I think they're getting close. So I got to shortchange this science lesson right now. And I realize it's very elementary, but I want you to understand why you get butterflies. And it's not because you're about to fuck up. It's because you're about to do something that you can do and that matters. So go frickin' do it, which is what I'm going to do. Let's do this. Can you hear that? That right there is the Dallas Convention Center. 3,000 women in the audience. I am taking the stage today, and I am taking you to work with me. The fear of public speaking is the number one fear that people have. And I don't even mean necessarily talking on a stage like I do for a living.